Good morning. Today I'm going to briefly cover comma rule number 3 for us. So in class, we have talked about comma rule number 1 and number 2. Comma rule number 1 being using commas when addressing someone. Comma 2 rule is using commas with introductory words and phrases. So today, let's get on to comma rule number 3, which is commas with dates. No, not like taking somebody out on a date, but a date as in like the days in the years. Okay, so comma rule number 3, commas with dates. So our initial rules are place a comma between the day and year always. So anytime you have it, a comma always goes between day and year, whether it's at the beginning of the sentence, middle of the sentence, or end of the sentence. Now we get a little more specific for part 2 of comma rule number 3. If the year is in the middle of the sentence, we need to place a comma after the year also. So there will be a comma before the year and after the year. Okay, just like when we are addressing someone, if the name is in the middle of the sentence, we put a comma before and after the name. Okay, so here are a couple examples. The example number 1 is today is January 26th, 2021. It's not. It's actually January 28th, but that's the sentence. And our comma goes right after our date and in between the day and the year. Just like rule number 1 says, we need to place a comma between the day and year always. So it's there. Okay. Number 2, on January 29th, 2021, you will go to Disney World. I hope somebody does in class, but I doubt it, but that's okay. So we have our comma in between the day and year, like it says. We, always need to have this. And then we have a comma after our year before it moves on to the rest of the sentence. So our year is in the middle of the sentence. So that means we need a comma before and after. Okay, so this is a pretty simple rule. Let's move on to the next one. The attack on Pearl Harbor occurred on December 7th, comma, right there in between the day and year, 1941. On May 27th, 1994, Mr. Reed was born. Notice my year is in the middle of the sentence here, so I put a comma before this year and after the year, okay? So remember, comma rule number 3, we always have a comma between the day and year, and if the year is in the middle of the sentence, we also put a comma after the year. Okay, so we make a little year sandwich between 2 commas. Okay, so let's move on to an example slide here. So let's put this together. I'll erase this, put this one here. So we have some examples, and we're going to put sentences together using these examples. So right here, my first example is I have the date. I have September 7th, 2017, and I have an event, which was Jamison Reed was born. Okay, so putting together my sample sentence, I need to make sure the commas are in the right place. I'm going to make a sentence that has the year in the middle of the sentence here. So I can say on September 7th, 2017, my son Jamison was born. Okay, I didn't put any commas in yet. So where do I need them? Well, I always need a comma in between the day and the year. So I need to put a comma after 7 and in between 2017. But my year is in the middle of my sentence. So I also need to put a comma after the year there. Now, my sentence is formatted correctly. It makes sense. Remember, we use commas to have our sentences be able to make sense to readers, to give real pauses in the sentence, so that we can better understand what we are writing and readers can better understand what we're trying to say. Okay, so now it reads, on September 7th, 2017, my son Jamison was born. So I have my commas in the correct place. The next one, January 25th. So now I don't have a year. I just have the day. Okay, so let's see. Let's write our sentence out. On January 25th, I went to church. What do you guys think? Think this is correct? Or do you think I need to add something? What do you think I need to add here? Let's see. If I put a comma after my date, now it makes sense. Now it makes it have more of a natural feel. So in this sentence, January 25th acts as a date, and it also brings us to comma rule number 2 because it is our introductory phrase for the rest of our sentence. Okay, it changes the meaning of the back end of the sentence. So I could say I went to church, and you might say, well, did he go today? When did he go? But if I put on January 25th, that gives me context. That is the introductory phrase to the rest of my word. And what do we know for comma rule number 2? After your introductory phrase, you always need a comma. So this acts as a date where we need a comma and an introductory phrase. So what you will do today is you will work on the worksheet on Google Classroom. It is called comma worksheet number 1. You will complete that and you will be all set with our comma rules activities for the day. Have a good day.